Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 20th to the 27th of November 2016. We have a very slow and ethereal aspect at the moment as Neptune is turning from retrograde to direct motion, but this does take quite a while. So we have Neptune stationary. So what does that mean? Well, there's a sense of being between places. There's a sense of having to reconnect with our inner compass and to reconnect with our eternal truths rather than going backwards or forwards. There's a sense of beingness, of isness, of knowingness, and getting to that cellular truth that doesn't ebb and flow with the tides of time. So Neptune is like a giant tuning fork. It resonates with our frequency, transmitting that frequency. So it's to get in tune with your resonance, with your emotional compass, with your feelings and what you're transmitting. And it's quite a comfortable feel. It's quite gentle. Nothing needs to be done, nothing needs to be thought. It's a sense of being and a sense of quiet and calm that this brings. So for the next couple of weeks there's a general knowing. Your intuition is probably incredibly strong and your dream world is probably revelatory at the moment. So plenty of sleep, plenty of rest, plenty of going inwards and not having an agenda really, just exploring, just getting back to that. How do I actually feel? Who am I? What is my knowing? And not getting too distracted with the outside world. That's what Neptune is bringing us. Also opposite the world's north node. So we're recalibrating to what's right. We're recalibrating to where we're heading as a group and our contribution to that. The north node is in Virgo, so very much teamwork. What are you contributing to the whole? Are you being tossed and turned on the choppy waters of politics and getting caught up in polarity consciousness? This person or that person, this is right, that's wrong? Or are you able to just hold a central space and discover your own intelligence and make up your own mind without being told what to think or what to do? And then what is your part? What can you actually do to help create the reality that you'd like to see come into being? So very, very powerful opposition there across the skies for the next couple of weeks. So this week we have the Sun transiting from Scorpio to Sagittarius, and this is around the time that Ophiuchus dips his toe into the zodiac. So there's always regular news articles about how there's a 13th sign of the zodiac and that means all the dates are wrong and you're not an Aquarius, you're a Capricorn and all that nonsense. But basically there is a part of the zodiac where there's a little bit of Ophiuchus in there between Scorpio and Sagittarius. This doesn't mean you have to change the dates because the sky is just divided up into 12 sections, a bit like numbers on a clock really. We don't have to make any alterations because it's not the constellations that are the active force in astrology. They're the markers. It's where the planets are and the collective field of what's going on Earth. So that should answer the question for anybody that's not seen my blog piece on how we don't have to make adjustments for the 13th sign. However, Ophiuchus, the serpent carrier, or the serpent handler as such, is the bottom of the Milky Way. This is what I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. The basis of many Halloween myths and legends is the fact that the sun passes over the bottom of the Milky Way, and that's where souls were said to depart back up to source. So this is actually an aspect that's worth watching out for in the news because it's worked quite strongly within politics. The 13th sign of the zodiac will start to see quite a few things going on politically if you've got the eyes to see and the ears to hear. However, it doesn't really mean that much for us other than enjoy the stillness and keep connected with your soul source energy, which is what I was just talking about with Neptune. Keep true to yourself, your real self, your soul self. But the sun passes into Sagittarius on Monday and we start to feel a little bit of a change there as we've gone deeply inwards, always with Scorpio, going deeply into the dark places to bring the unconscious to the conscious, to bring the dark to light. And now we expand into Sagittarius, which is the sage, the wise one, the storyteller and the keeper of knowledge. So whatever we've discovered during the Scorpio month, we then have the ability to assimilate, to apply and to teach once we get into the Sagittarian month. So Sagittarius is winter fire, and it's the hearth fire, and it's the heart fire. So we're going into our own inner heart fire, our connection with the life spark energy, our connection with ancestors, our connection with eternal wisdom and truth. So beautiful month. This is very much what the whole Christmas thing is about. It's around sitting around the hearth fire and sharing, being generous, telling stories, connecting. And inside it's very much the same, to connect with our heart fire and to expand our magnificence, to be magnanimous, to be generous, to share, to learn and to teach. It's all about expansion once we get to the end of Sagittarius, because that's when the sun is reborn at the winter solstice and expands into the light half of the year. So for now we take that fire inwards, we can embark on a journey of study, we can expand ourselves, we can take what we've learnt and we can see what it means. Now immediately by Tuesday we have Jupiter, the ruling planet of Sagittarius, squaring off with Pluto. And this is a big deal for the whole of 2017. So Pluto has been steadily deconstructing outdated systems since 2008, and this can very much be seen in the outside world with anything that's limiting, corrupt, or just needs to go now. So Pluto's doing a sterling job over in Capricorn and will be there for a few years yet as well. It's a long, slow deconstruction process. Jupiter there might be clearing a bit of space so that we have some room to flow and expand with our relationship with ourselves, with others and with the world. So there's a sense of making a lot of space. There's a sense of things having to go now that aren't serving us, but a great deal of hope and optimism. We're making the room now. We can stretch, we can expand, and we can stand up straight and make our claims. So Jupiter is your sovereignty, your majesty, and with the other aspects, with the Neptune aspect that's going on at the moment as well, to really know who we are has never been more important. Your own inner truthful knowing. So very beautiful energy there, very slow, but we're going to be going backwards and forwards with Jupiter and Pluto throughout 2017, and it is worth knowing where this falls in your chart, because this will fall in different places for different people. By Wednesday, Mercury meets with Saturn. So this is a very interesting aspect. Mercury, the processing mind, and Saturn, the teacher. So what is this going to bring? It does feel like a meeting. It does feel like there'll actually be an agenda. And I feel that political truth on the outside meets spiritual truth on the inside. So another divine aspect here as we get to align ourselves, as we get to see the connection between what we're being, our own self-governance, and then what we're allowing to be on the outside, others governing us. So when we connect with our own self-governance, when we take on that backbone of Saturn, strong and flexible and centered, wise, and we take on the inspiration of Mercury to see if we're out of alignment anywhere, or how our mind has discipline, how we can structure our thoughts, structure our communication, then the focus very much on Wednesday is about self-governance, which then has a ripple effect on the outside as you can look at who you're letting govern you and see whether that's an accurate reflection of what you need. Is it helpful? Is it serving you? Because don't forget that government are public servants. We have these phrases, such and such is in power, but nobody should be in power. These people are supposed to be paid to make wise decisions on behalf of the whole, to make the world better. And yet we have some very dodgy characters out there. So you decide, are they governing you? Government even means to control the mind, if you break down the word. So with Mercury and Saturn meeting in Sagittarius, you control your mind. But make sure you know your mind and make sure that you're strong and structured and self-governing. So an incredibly timely and perfect aspect there on Wednesday with all the other things that are going on this week. And the building blocks continue. By Thursday we have Tuesday's energy doubled, which was Jupiter squaring off with Pluto, but now we have the Moon and Venus adding their influence as well. So we can take what we were aligning with on Tuesday and actually feel it. What we love and what we stand for, what we defend and what we protect, we have to have that nurture and nourishment for us too. We can't keep giving out ourselves to external causes and focusing on what's wrong and worrying about the world. We have to have a sense of self-nurture and nourishment as well. So again, this just couldn't be better. If we're going to grow and flow with our own self-relationship, then we need to bring time, we need to bring that back into ourselves this week so that we actually know who we are and we're giving ourselves the necessary attention as well. And the feeling Friday into the weekend into next week is that all of this energy is then summed up. Everything starts to make sense. We see how everything connects together, and we start to know that we have a message, that we are well aligned in our own mind, with our own heart, and that we can stand strong and tall and navigate our way through with self-governance, with self-knowledge and with self-love. So a really lovely end to the week as everything seems to come into place. Even though we've been through 4 or 5 different aspects of the early week, it all seems to come into coherence by Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So what's the message? What have you learned? What have you got to say? Make sure it's yours and speak with confidence would be the message of the weekend. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week. As we're coming into the festive season, I'm creating a Zodiac Gift Pack, a document for each sign to show you how to work with your sign on a physical level, mental level, emotional level and spiritual level, with recipes for essential oils and active ways that you can use crystals, how to calculate your moon dates and your moon sign. So I'm creating these useful packs that will be available as gifts over the festive period, and that's one for each sign. If you'd like to engage with your own chart and see where all these energies are happening for you, then I am available for one-to-one readings, Skype or in London. Or you're very welcome to take the winter months and embark on a course of study. I have a full astrology degree, I have a foundation course, I have a tarot trilogy, 2 lunar courses and 1 course to work with the elements. So those are available in notes and video format with email access to me, and also available as gifts. Or if you prefer to stay in touch, then I have the online group where you can come and join for just £5 a month, post up your chart, and we explore these energies and much, much more as they're happening. So that's something that you can play with for a whole year, with lots of interaction, meet other like-hearted souls and learn your chart over a relaxed period of time at your own pace. So for any of that, please do contact me, zoehines7@gmail.com.